What a beautiful day it is here today. And everywhere it is a beautiful day. It is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Indeed, Christ is with us. He came into this earth to save us and to take us out of the worldly ways, the mundane ways, only to eat, drink, and be merry, but to ascend into the heavenly realm, to ascend there in our hearts now, and eventually to live there with him forever in his kingdom. People like Saint Euphemia, who we honor today, that young woman who, in the early 4th century, when the persecutions were raging, she stood tall before the tyrants, and she gave her life. She allowed them to torture her, never denying Christ once. And she was finally killed, martyred for the glory of his name. And we call upon her because she prays for us day in and day out. We saw that beautiful miracle that happened when she visited, even in our time, Saint Paisios. She passed in the early 4th century. Tomorrow again we honor 4 young women, a young mother by the name of Sophia, that name which means wisdom, and she was indeed very wise. She named her daughters to begin with faith, hope, and love. Pisti, Elpida, and Agapi. As the persecutions raged, she and her daughters were captured and began to be tortured. They tortured her daughters first in front of her very eyes, and she encouraged her little girls not to deny Christ. Christ himself gave her strength and gave them strength, and they carried on. Even though they were tortured, they never denied Christ. And then, of course, after her, Sophia, that great martyr of the church, watched her daughters give their lives for Christ. She was also tortured and killed. Now in these very confusing, turbulent times, especially for our youth and perhaps more so for us adults, if we have realized how turbulent the times are, we would cling to Christ and to his church, and we would run at every opportunity to glorify him together in the church and to receive his life-giving blood and body. Let us gather together churches tomorrow on the feast day of Saints Sophia and her daughters Faith, Hope, and Love. I just read the Vespers in front of the beautiful church of St. Catherine, that other great martyr, that young woman again who gave her life for Christ, and let us learn to give our lives for Christ. Yes, now. No, maybe they're not torturing us in a direct way, but they're torturing us if they lead us into indifference and to not participating in the full life of the church. Come, young people, come. Young mothers, young fathers, children, let us be bright stars. Let us be bright lights in this world. Yes, I know there's a lot of darkness, but we can overcome with the love, strength, mercy of Christ by the power of his cross. We continually now, in these days, celebrate and honor the cross of Christ. Why? Because in it there is power. And as we make the sign of the cross, as we wear our crosses, as we have crosses in our homes, as we see crosses on the tops of churches, in our homes, everywhere, we know we have strength, but we have to live that. We have to live that and honor Christ himself and his saints who lived by the cross, by the power of the cross. Come, go. The time is now. The only time for faith is now, and it is always now, right now.